Okay, so like your 20s, right? Everyone talks about them like they're supposed to be this like magical highlight reel of constant fun, success, and I don't know, perfectly curated smoothie bowls. But honestly, most of the time I feel like I'm just winging it. And like, is anyone else just constantly scrolling through Instagram thinking, wait, am I doing this adulting thing wrong? Because same. It's like there's this invisible checklist, and if you're not ticking off boxes at lightning speed, you're like failing. But what if the checklist is like totally bogus? But here's the thing, and this is like super important. I feel like we're all kind of in this weird, confusing, sometimes amazing, sometimes terrifying boat together, just trying to figure out what actually like matters. Not just the stuff that looks good on a grid, or what your Aunt Karen thinks you should be doing, but the real deep down stuff that actually makes you feel, I don't know, good, like genuinely good, not just good for the gram good. It's a whole vibe, and it's okay if it's a messy vibe. So today I wanted to just like chat, no biggie, just us. We're going to talk about like 5 things that I've kind of realized are actually super important in your 20s. Things that honestly no one really tells you, or at least not in a way that like clicks. You know, we're going to get into stuff that'll actually help you feel like more you and less like you're just trying to keep up with some imaginary pace car. Think real connections, actually liking yourself. Revolutionary, I know. And like not being absolutely terrified of messing up. So grab your emotional support water bottle, get comfy, and let's like figure this out, or at least talk about figuring it out. Okay, first up, and this one is like huge for me, meaningful relationships. And I'm not talking about like how many followers you have or how many people like your latest selfie. That stuff is fine, whatever, but it's not the thing, you know? It's like cotton candy, looks big and impressive, but then it just like dissolves into nothing and leaves you with sticky fingers. What actually like nourishes your soul is the real deal connections, the people you can call when you're having a full-blown existential crisis at 2 a.m. about whether or not you should get bangs. Remember that time in like high school or early college when you thought having a massive group of friends was the ultimate goal? Yeah, me too. And then you realize half of them don't even know your favorite like weird snack combo. It's a weird awakening. It's like quantity is cool for, I don't know, Halloween candy, but for people, quality is where it's at. Having like 2 or 3 people who genuinely get you, who you can be your complete, unfiltered weirdo self around, that's literal gold. More valuable than any blue check mark, I swear. It's about finding your tribe, your people, the ones who see your messy parts and are still like, yep, still love you, you chaotic bean. These are the friends who will like celebrate your tiny wins as if you just won an Oscar, and who will sit with you in the metaphorical or literal dark when things feel like impossibly heavy. They're the ones who don't just hear you, but actually like listen. And that's a skill, by the way, both having those people and being that person for someone else. It's a two-way street of awesome. And it's not always easy, right? Like making new friends as an adult, terrifying. Maintaining friendships when everyone's schedules are like a game of Tetris gone wrong, also hard. But it's so worth the effort. It's about choosing to invest your time and energy into people who uplift you, who challenge you in a good way, and who you can just like exist with, no pressure. Forget the surface level stuff, go deep. Find the people who make your soul feel like less alone in this giant, confusing world. They're out there, I promise. So, like, my challenge for you, and for me, honestly, is to maybe put a little less energy into curating the appearance of a social life and a little more into like actually nurturing the real one. Call that friend you've been meaning to catch up with. Make plans, be vulnerable. It's scary, but it's also like the best, because at the end of the day, or like the end of your 20s, it's not the follower count that's gonna matter. It's the hands you held and the hearts you connected with. Preach. Okay, next up, and this is a big one that I feel like we all kind of pretend isn't a thing until it like slaps us in the face. But prioritizing your mental and physical health, it sounds so like adulting 101, but honestly, how many of us are actually doing it? For the longest time, I treated my body like a rental car I wasn't responsible for, and my brain, oh, that was just like a noisy roommate I tried to ignore. Spoiler, doesn't work. Your well-being is like the foundation for everything else. If that's crumbling, good luck building anything cool on top of it. Let's talk mental health first, because phew, it's a journey. Therapy, literally a lifesaver. My therapist is basically my best friend who I pay to listen to my drama, and honestly worth every penny. There's this weird stigma sometimes, but like if your leg was broken, you'd go to a doctor, right? Your brain is an organ. It needs checkups and support too. And self-care isn't just like face masks and bubble baths, though those are nice. It's setting boundaries, saying no, unfollowing accounts that make you feel like crap, and actually like processing your feelings instead of burying them under, I don't know, 3 seasons of a reality show. And then there's the physical side. Oh my God, the struggle is real. In my early 20s, my idea of a balanced diet was like a green juice after the entire pizza. And exercise was walking to the fridge. And look, it's not about becoming like a super athlete or only eating kale. It's about finding movement you actually like enjoy. Maybe it's dancing like a maniac in your room, or a chill walk, or I don't know, competitive snail racing if that's your vibe. Just something to remind your body it's alive and appreciated. Sleep too. Oh my God, sleep. Remember pulling all-nighters like it was a cool badge of honor? Yeah. My under-eye bags are here to tell you it's not. Our bodies and brains literally like repair themselves when we sleep. Treating sleep like a luxury instead of a necessity is basically self-sabotage, and I've been there. It's about finding small, sustainable habits. Maybe it's drinking more water, boring I know, but like crucial, or trying to get like 7 to 8 hours of sleep most nights. Little things add up, you know? It's not about perfection, it's about like compassion for yourself. Some days you'll eat the salad, some days you'll eat the cake. Some days you'll go to the gym, some days you'll be a human burrito on the couch. And that's okay. It's about listening to what your body and mind are actually like telling you they need, instead of just pushing through until you burn out. Because burnout is like, so last season, we're aiming for sustainable well-being, baby. It's a marathon, not a sprint, and sometimes the marathon involves a nap. All right, let's talk about something that literally everyone experiences, but like, nobody wants to admit failure, the F word. It sounds so dramatic, right? Like you've, I don't know, accidentally set the kitchen on fire while trying to make toast. Been there, metaphorically speaking. But here's a hot take. What if failing isn't actually like the end of the world? What if it's just data, a really awkward, sometimes painful way of learning what does work so you can get closer to what? Mind blown. I used to be so terrified of failing, like pathologically afraid. If I wasn't sure I could be like instantly amazing at something, I just wouldn't even try. Which, looking back, is so silly, because how are you supposed to get good at anything if you don't like suck at it first? Every single person you admire, every success story you see is built on a mountain of like tiny mess ups, and sometimes massive mess ups and oops moments. They just don't always show that part on the highlight reel, you know? Okay, so picture this. You totally bomb that presentation you prepped for weeks, or like that DIY project ends up looking like a Pinterest fail from literal hell. Or maybe you start a new job and feel completely clueless, or a relationship ends and you feel like you messed it all up. It feels awful in the moment, right? Like your stomach drops to your toes. But then what happens? The world doesn't actually end. You're still here. And like, you learn something. Maybe you learned you need to prepare differently, or that hot glue isn't the answer to everything, or that you're stronger than you thought. The key is to reframe it. Instead of thinking, I failed, therefore I am a failure, try thinking, okay, that attempt failed. What can I learn from this experience? It's about separating the outcome from your, like, inherent worth as a human being. Your worth isn't tied to your success rate in, like, life's random endeavors. It's so much easier said than done. I know it takes practice to not immediately go into like a shame spiral, but it's a muscle you can build, this resilience thing. So the next time you mess up or something doesn't go to plan, try to like take a breath. Maybe even laugh about it if it's not too soon. Give yourself some grace. Failure is just a plot twist, not the end of the story. It's a chance to pivot, to grow, to become like a slightly wiser, more interesting version of yourself. And honestly, the stories about the times you totally face-planted and then got back up are usually way more interesting than the ones where everything just like went perfectly. Embrace the chaos, learn from the L's, and keep going. This next one is a bit more like internal, a bit more sit down and actually think about your life vibes, but it's so important discovering what you truly value. Not what society tells you to value, not what your parents instilled in you, though that can be a starting point, not what looks cool on Instagram, but like what actually makes specific, unique, slightly weird heart sing. What are the principles that when you live by them make you feel like aligned and authentic? It's deep, I know, but stick with me. For a long time I was just like floating, chasing things I should want, maybe a certain job title or a certain lifestyle, or I don't know, a specific brand of oat milk that everyone said was the best. And then I get those things or get close and still feel a bit empty. Like, is this it? And it's usually because those things weren't actually aligned with my core values. It's like trying to wear shoes that are a size too small just because they're trendy. Looks okay from a distance, but up close, you're just in pain. So how do you even figure this stuff out? It's not like there's a BuzzFeed quiz for what are your deepest core values. Or maybe there is, I should check. For me, it's been a lot of trial and error and paying attention to how different things make me. When do you feel most alive? When do you feel proud of yourself, even if no one else notices? What makes you angry or frustrated about the world? Often, the things that really get under your skin can point you towards what you care about changing or upholding. Maybe for you, it's creativity, or community, or independence, or learning, or kindness, or adventure. There are no right or wrong answers. It's about getting quiet enough to hear that little voice inside you that's been trying to tell you what's up. Journaling can help, or talking to a really good friend who's a good listener. Sometimes just asking yourself, if I had all the money and time in the world and no one was judging me, what would I actually, can be pretty revealing. And once you start to get a clearer picture of your values, it's like having a compass. It helps you make decisions, big and small. Should I take this job? Should I move to this city? Should I spend my time on this project or with these people? If it aligns with your values, the answer becomes so much clearer. It doesn't mean life gets easy, but it means you're navigating it with a sense of purpose. And that, my friends, is a game changer. It's about building a life that actually good on the inside, not just one that looks good from the outside. Okay, last but definitely not least, and this one is all about getting out of your own head and into the world. Taking action, not just dreaming. We all have those big dreams, right? The amazing career, the travel adventures, the creative projects, the person we want to become. And it's great to dream. Dreaming is the fun, sparkly part. But if all you do is dream, then those dreams just stay dreams. Fluffy clouds of what if that never actually touch the ground. The magic happens when you start to. I am the queen of overthinking and waiting for the perfect moment. I'll start that thing when I have more time, or when I feel more confident, or when the planets align and a unicorn delivers a handwritten invitation. Spoiler, the perfect moment literally never arrives. It's a myth, a really convincing one, but still a myth. The only way to make things happen is to, make them happen. Even if it's messy and imperfect and you have no idea what you're doing. The trick, I think, is to start small, ridiculously small. Got a dream to write a book? Maybe just write one sentence today. Want to start a YouTube channel? Film a 10-second video on your phone just for yourself? Want to learn a new skill? Watch one tutorial? These tiny steps feel almost insignificant, but they build momentum. It's like a snowball. It starts tiny, but if you keep rolling it, it gets bigger and bigger. Taking that first tiny step breaks the inertia, the I don't want a feeling. And yeah, it's scary. Taking risks is terrifying. What if you fail? See Chapter 3, LOL. What if people judge you? What if it's not as good as you imagined? All valid fears. But also, what if it's amazing? What if you learn something incredible? What if it leads you to something even better than you dreamed of? You literally won't know unless you try. And honestly, most of the time, people are too busy worrying about their own stuff to hyper-focus on your tiny first steps. So that idea that's been marinating in your brain, that thing you keep saying someday to, what if someday was today or this week? Just pick one small action, one tiny little nudge forward. You don't need a grand plan. You don't need permission. You just need to begin, because your 20s are this amazing time to experiment, to try things, to figure out what sticks. Don't let fear or a quest for perfection keep you stuck on the starting line. Get in the game, even if you stumble a bit. It's way more fun than just watching from the sidelines, trust me. So yeah, that's basically my current brain dump on what actually seems to matter in this wild, confusing, sometimes amazing decade that is your 20s. It's a lot, I know. And honestly, I'm still figuring it all out every single day. Some days I feel I've totally got it, and other days I'm what is life? Send help and snacks. But I think the main thing, the thing I really want you to take away from this little chat, is that you're doing so much better than you think you are, seriously. And please remember that everyone's journey is completely different. There's no universal timeline, no right way to do your 20s or your 30s or any of it really. Your path is yours, with all its unique twists and turns and unexpected detours, and that's what makes it interesting. It's okay not to have it all figured out. Honestly, who even does? Probably no one. They're just better at faking it. So be kind to yourself, give yourself some grace, and just keep putting one foot in front of the other. I genuinely love to hear what you guys think. What are some things that you've found actually matter in your 20s? Or any advice you'd give your slightly younger, more bewildered self? Drop it all in the comments below. Let's make this a supportive little community of figuring it out togetherness, because that, my friends, definitely matters. Anyway, thanks for hanging out with me. Sending you all the good vibes. You've got this, for real.